Hey guys, Mike here with Cutting Edge Tactics and Training. Today, I'm going to walk you through my battle belt setup, how I have this thing set up. And I'll say right off the bat, like I've said in some other videos, these videos are primarily for students I have trained. So I want them to be able to recap information I've gone over at my course with videos on YouTube, or they're all going to be on the website as well. But just so you guys know, for the general public, a lot of this stuff is just questions I'm asked at my courses or information that I say enough that I feel that a video would be a good way for students to access that information again to kind of get a reminder. That being said, I don't really have a massive interest in building any kind of insane following here on any social media platform because I care about actually in-person training and training students. So my encouragement to you guys would be like, hey, come take a course and learn some stuff and actually get this information in person. That'd be awesome. But today I'm talking about battle belt because this is one of the questions I get asked at my courses. How do I set it up? What I like to run? So for me to start off, this is a Core Essentials Molly battle belt. I think Core probably is some of the best belt products on the market today. Their ratcheting system is just awesome because it really allows you to lock that belt in. And I've used other belts during my time in the Marine Corps doing private security, and some of them would just start getting loose after moving around in them. And I do not find that to be the case with the Core belts because of the ratcheting system. They're extremely durable, I have found. I've had this thing for a couple of years now. So super durable. They hold weight really well. It never feels like my belt is sagging down. They do have an inner belt that you can get, which is pretty cool. But they also make a padding now that can go on it. So if you don't want to use the inner belt and you just want to throw this thing on, you absolutely can. So Core Essentials is who I use. I also use their belts for everyday carry stuff. I really like their products, so that's why I run them. So let's get into the actual setup and what I have on this thing. To start off, tourniquet. So this is just a tourniquet pouch. Nothing super special about it with a cat tourniquet in it. I use cat tourniquets primarily because that's what I used in the Marine Corps. Very familiar with them. I like having a tourniquet pretty close and really easily accessible. I do have them on my plate carriers and my chest rigs. But if I'm not wearing that stuff, I at least have another tourniquet on me at all times. You're out of the range training, whatever it is, it's just never a bad idea to have a tourniquet on you. I also have a tourniquet in the IFAC I keep for everyday carry on my ankle. But this is just a good piece of gear to have on your belt, and it's right up at the front, very accessible. So holsters. So this is a Safariland holster. This is from a company called RDR. The only reason is I'm running a HK P30L with a red dot and a Surefire. Safariland doesn't make holsters for those guns like from their shop because the P30 doesn't typically come with a red dot. So they custom made it. It works great. I like Safariland holsters. Now, as far as holsters go, on a battle belt, I go back and forth if level 2 retention, meaning some sort of locking mechanism that you have to actuate, is even necessary for a civilian. If you're throwing this thing on and let's say it's hitting the fan, you're probably gonna have the rest of your kit on you as well. The reality of you getting into some sort of super close engagement where somebody's trying to pull your gun off you is very, very unlikely. And so I get why cops have it. I get why some military guys have it. For civilians, I don't know if it's totally necessary. I run it. I do like having a little bit of extra retention, but there's also great Kydex options out there. And if I'm training anybody who is in law enforcement or military, it's helpful to be able to model the skills using the gear that they have. And typically, this is the kind of holster they have. So I have it primarily as a training aid, and so I can be proficient in what I'm teaching them. This is a Kydex only retention holster from A&R Design. This thing works great, fast draw. I have a video review on these holsters, but they're awesome. And if you're not wanting any kind of retention security, like a level 2 or up, I think something like this would be more than adequate based on what you're doing. But if you're Law enforcement, military, obviously your unit or agency is going to dictate what you have on that. This thing is attached via a Guardian Warrior Solutions bang hanger. So I'll pull this thing off. So the bang hanger is this piece of Tegris that allows me to mount the Safariland QLS fork on here. I think this is one of the best mounting solutions I've found for my holster because it's rigid, so I still get a really good draw, but it also has a little bit of flexibility in it. So if I'm shooting from unconventional positions, the holster kind of moves with my body as opposed to just jamming right into me. I know the guy who runs the company. They're out here in Wyoming, and they're fantastic people. And he's a active duty law enforcement, former military. I'm pretty sure he's in every branch but the Navy. But they're great guys. So this thing was developed from him. They work really well, very comfortable, especially if you're in a vehicle all day, which is, I believe, primarily why he made it, because he's a cop. So I do run a leg strap. This is just a leg strap from like T-Rex arms, I think. Anyways, I go back and forth on if I need a leg strap or not. Sometimes it helps with the draw because it really keeps that holster in place. So when you come up, even if your draw's a little wonky, like canted off to the side, your gun still gets come out. And it helps keep that holster in place a little bit. But there is the issue of if you have a leg strap on and you get hit in the leg and you put a tourniquet on, well, now you got to fight a leg strap. So I don't really know. I have seen those ratcheting leg straps that are supposed to work as a tourniquet. I've never tried them. Not really something I'd probably invest in, but you guys can do with that if you what you want. Anyways, that's kind of the holster setup for the pistol. I have a little hook here on the belt, and that's going to be for gloves. All right, so if I have my gloves on, if I need to take them off for some reason. This is a little admin pouch from Faro Concepts. It has my pen on it, and primarily I'm using my pen to mark targets at the range, chem light, and then this pouch is very small. The only thing I really keep in here is a lighter, some CLP, some other tools for guns. Primarily for me at this point, it's more of a range aid for when I'm training people. I need to grab something really quick, or I keep on me that I find I may need on the range, like a tool to adjust your zero on your red dot, something like that. But you can put a little bit more stuff in here, but I don't really need a ton in it, and it's pretty slim, especially if I'm in a vehicle. I don't really want stuff pushing up against my back. All right, next, dump pouch. All right, so I know dump pouches are kind of, I don't know, not really a thing anymore, at least from what I've seen on the good old YouTube. I know, because there's a lot of SF dudes on YouTube now, and I don't think a lot of them run dump pouches, but I was in the infantry, so we ran a dump pouch all the time. And it's super useful, not only for retaining your mags, but any other junk you may need. So this one is from STAC. It's open top. It's pretty rigid, so it doesn't, and it does a pretty good job of keeping the mags in there, even if I'm running around and going prone and whatnot. This one is their smaller version because it only carries 4 magazines, or is supposed to only fit 4 instead of like your traditional 6, which I found honestly is plenty, because even in the military, I rarely ran into an occasion where I had 6 magazines in here, because if I'm doing that many reloads, I'm probably gonna have a speed reload in there, and that mag's just gonna be on the ground on the range somewhere. So rifle magazines, I have 2 of them. So one here, one here. As I talked about in my plate carrier video, these are your speed reload pouches for me. These are going to be the primary magazines I will pull if I need to do a speed reload when operating my rifle. Otherwise, I won't touch them because I'd rather get the least accessible mags first for that reload if I have time and we're doing like a tactical reload. These are STAC mag pouches. This one is the STAC single rifle mag and 2 pistol mags. So I carry 2 pistol mags on my belt. Yeah, and that's it. Again, if this is a battle belt, this is not a competition belt. So I'm not going to carry, more than 2 pistol mags on me when I already have a bunch of rifle mags. And if you're running like full kit, your pistol is your secondary, not your primary. So you don't need to worry about loading up tons of ammo on your pistol, at least in my opinion. I will say one other thing, and I know it's going to be kind of hard to see, so I'll do my best. These pouches are held in using the ADAP system from Guardian Warrior Solutions. Again, they operate out of Casper, Wyoming, and that's where I am. And so they're great guys, and they let me, come to their workshop and see all their stuff, and they're awesome. But these are essentially replacing like any kind of malice clips or just standard Molly inserts. And so they basically screw your pouches onto your belt, and holy smokes, the retention is solid. These pouches do not move on this belt at all. And so reloads are super smooth. Even if you're at a weird angle and you kind of have a tight magazine, or maybe your Kydex isn't broken in, and you go to pull it, it can be like, oh, it's really annoying. But with these, because of how tight they are secured onto the belt, because of those ADAP mounts, they work really well. So I run those. Again, by the way, like everything I have from Guardian War Solutions, I've bought. So there's not like an exchange of stuff there. Anyways, that's my battle belt setup, guys. Some things to consider. I kind of like having this as a multi-purpose for my kit. So if I'm running around with my chest rig, I'm still going to have like pistol mags and rifle mags. If I'm running around in my plate carrier, I'm going to have more stuff. But this is kind of like the base, if you will, of like, hey, these are the essentials I want to have on me if all I can throw on is my belt. Some rifle mags, a tourniquet, pistol mags, pistol. And then again, I run ankle IFAK for everyday carry, so I'll probably have that on as well. So I'm basically, my bases are covered as far as things to make holes and things to fix holes. I wouldn't recommend loading your belt down with a ton of gear, because for men, we're designed to carry weight on our shoulders, not on our hips, so it can get a little bit tiring. But that's kind of my thoughts on belts. I've used quite a different bit of belts during my time in the Marine Corps and in private security, and I think that this is kind of the setup I'm sticking with now, and I really like it, and I think it works for my purpose of it. Anyways, that is my belt setup, guys. I hope this helped you out. And again, I'd love to see you guys come to the range and take a course, and we do this stuff in person. Take care.